So you're wearing a hat from the Cincinnati Royals, a basketball team.
Yeah.
Who are they now? Are they the Sacramento Kings?
They are.
Okay, so will Cincinnati ever have an NBA team?
No.
Ever again? Why?
Well, I don't think there's any ownership group pressing to bring an NBA team to Cincinnati. So the two ways you get an NBA franchise, number one moves. They move in large part because they get sold. So if you're going to move an NBA team to Cincinnati,
who's the billionaire that's going to do it?
Well, let's just say you own the Sacramento Kings. All right, you want to move back to Cincinnati. Where are you going to play? Do you want to build it? Taxpayers are probably going to say no to a new arena. Can the market support 4 Major League Soccer or Major League sports franchises? Most economists will say no. I would slightly disagree with that because I think with the right ownership, anything would work.
We're 2.2 million people now.
Yeah, and what I always say to that is the NBA, it's a star league. It's an event league. So you mean to tell me Steph Curry comes to town, it doesn't get people fired up?
Selling out.
Of course it is. So I've always kind of pushed back at that. But, economists will say, like, a market of this size that has such a big college basketball presence wouldn't be conducive to an NBA team. So I think is a franchise going to move, and would the NBA approve it to Cincinnati? My guess is no. So then it's expand. Okay, well, to expand, you got to have willing owners. Who in town wants an NBA team? I haven't heard of there is one in Louisville. There's a huge movement of big-time corporate people who are like, we want a team here, and they've got an NBA. The Yum Center would need to be slightly renovated, I guess, but they've got an NBA arena. We do not. And so who are the people that would say, we want it, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to build a place to play? I don't think that exists, and I just don't think the NBA would want a team here. The NBA has done really well in markets like San Antonio. There's no other major sports. Utah, there's no other major sports. Memphis, there's no other major sports. Indianapolis has the Colts. There's no baseball. The NBA has done exceptionally well in markets where there's nothing else. Here, we got NFL, Major League Baseball, and now Major League Soccer. And so I just...
But we have some big corporate brands that could support it because that's really important,
But
right?
do they want to?
I don't know. You would know that.
I mean, that's yeah. I've never heard, God, this dude at P&G is dying to bring an NBA team to town.
Because to your point, if you say, hey, listen, if we ignore soccer being in your business, that's just not the right thing to do. If you care about your listenership, if you care, that doesn't make any. So what's the hottest star-studded?
It's the NBA.
It is.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I hear from people my age who, when I mention the NBA, they're like, what are you doing? And I go, every guy that I know who's under the age of 35 has some interest in the NBA. It might not be a team. It could be a player. It could be gambling, which has changed how we talk about sports so much. But in terms of having a franchise here, I mean, if you're the NBA and you're going to expand, there seems to be a school of thought that says, well, they're going to put a team in Seattle, which they should, and then a market like Louisville. But could they put another team in Canada after Vancouver didn't work out? Could they put a team...
Columbus, Ohio or something?
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. But I just don't think Adam Silver is sitting in his office fending off people who are calling him on a daily basis saying, let's put a team in Cincinnati. And I trust me, I would love it because I love basketball. Pro and college, and I think with the right ownership, anything could work. And again, FC Cincinnati is a prime example because I remember when the press release went out, and it's like, dude, another, we've had so many of these sort of goofy, chintzy minor league teams, and I remember going, well, this is the Lindners, man. And I remember going to their website saying, this doesn't look like the website looked for the Cincinnati Jungle Cats. Yep. This looks different. This feels big time. And they talked about their aspirations for Major League Soccer, and they outlined how they wanted to do it. And there were a lot of people who were like, man, soccer's never going to work here. It's been well, it's worked. So with the right ownership, I think anything can work. In the NBA specifically, again, it's a star event-driven league. Now, there are some nights when it's like, great, the Orlando Magic are coming to town. But then there's nights where it's like, Kevin Durant's coming.
Yep.
LeBron's
or the Bucks are coming, right?
Giannis is coming.
Yeah.
And so, again, you couldn't convince me, hey, the Warriors are here and the gym would be half empty. That wouldn't be the case.
Correct.
So with the right ownership, I think it could work. I just don't. Whenever I hear, well, Cincinnati should get an NBA team, I go, cool, who's going to buy it? Who's going to bring it here? There's never an answer to that.
So if that gets answered, it's a possibility at some point maybe. You still would argue against it.
Well, I mean, how many franchises will they expand to?
Yeah.
How many franchises are going to move?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
cities are not going to want to give up those NBA franchises. They're going to fight to keep them, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, so
it doesn't look like it's the right scenario to make that happen.
No, I mean,
in our lifetimes.
Right now, nobody's talking about any NBA franchise moving.
Yeah.
And if they expand, I've not heard anybody say we're next on the list. And again, like, there are markets where there are consortiums of people who are, hey, we've got the money, we've got the capital, this is our plan, just give us a franchise, we'll pay the entry fee. Nobody's doing that here.
Because that happened with FC.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point.
Nobody's doing that here with the NHL either. And I people ask, well, would an NHL team work? The Jackets would have to sign off on it, but when the NHL expanded to Columbus, there were folks who were like, well, what about here? And it's like, yeah, cool. You going to buy it? Like, you do need willing investors, and those investors have to come into place before a league expands. Those investors haven't come into place. So
what are you going to do, right?
So it's not going to happen.